Hi, this is Uma. Welcome you all to my data channel, Esoteric Data. And today we are going to talk about exploratory data analysis. I have implemented a case study, HR Analytics, Employee Attrition with Python. So let's go to the video. So we'll have a quick recap of workflow. This has been explained in a previous video. So first step in ML model development, we need to convert a business requirement to data problem and to collect the data and then do the exploratory data analysis and do the feature engineering, and the next step model selection and training and model assessment and model deployment. So in this video we are going to talk about exploratory data analysis. The first step for any data scientist is to understand the customer's business requirement. And here in this case study, we are taking employee attrition rate prediction. Employee attrition is a bigger problem for all kind of business. It costs a lot of it leads to a lot of cost for the business. For taking new employees and training them, it involves cost. So now the business problem is to reduce the employee attrition rate. So how to convert this problem to the data problem, data science problem? Here we can develop a predictive model that predicts whether a staff is likely going to quit in near future. So if a HR person comes to know that a particular employee is going to quit, then he can able to take the remedial action in time, so the attrition rate can be reduced. So now the business problem to reduce the employee attrition rate, and that has been converted into a data problem. We need to develop a predictive model that predicts whether an employee is going to quit or not. So for this case study, I have taken the data set from IBM, and it is available in Gaggle. The link has been given, so we can download the data set from that link. Exploratory data analysis is the first real step in ML development, ML model development. So here the exploratory data analysis, it consists of two process. One is numerical summarization, another one is data visualization. So numerical summarization, it talks about statistics, summary statistics. It tells you, it gives you some quantitative measures so that we can understand what is the data. And the summary statistics have two types. One is measure of location and measure of spread. It gives these details. So we are going to talk about when we are implementing this case study in Python. And other process is data visualization. So data visualization, it's nothing but we are projecting the data in plots, analytical plots. From the analytical plots, we can infer what that particular data is talking about. Okay, it's time for coding. Let's start implementing the exploratory data analysis. So I opened the Jupyter notebook and I launched the new notebook, Python 3 notebook. So here you can see this data path. Here I have selected the folder datasets and HR attrition. So within that dataset, you can go and see there. I have saved that dataset in this location. So now first to do the data science projects, first we need to import several libraries. The basic libraries are NumPy and Pandas. So now let's start import those libraries. For importing, the command is import, and there are two important libraries, NumPy as NP. Here NumPy is the Python library which contains all the arrays and basic mathematical operations and matrices, everything. The basic math operation library is NumPy, and this as is nothing but aliasing. That means instead of whenever I'm going to use that NumPy library, if I'm going to use that often, then I should write that NumPy in full form. So in order to avoid that, I'm aliasing this NumPy as NP. And similarly, import the pandas library, analyze it as PD, and now import some plots libraries. So I'm going to use Seaborn library. This is best analytical plot library. That is simplest, simple to use. And then import matplotlib. Pyplot as plt. So now we have imported all the necessary libraries for doing our exploratory data analysis. Let's run this. There is an icon run. You click this. So when this goes to the next shell, then your code snippet has compiled properly. It doesn't show us any error here. And then next, first we need to import our data set into Jupyter Notebook. So for that, you can see here my data set is CSV format. So here my data set is CSV format. So I need to use some command to import the data set into the Jupyter Notebook. So let's take this. This is a variable. You can give any variable like data or whatever variable you can give. So now we are going to import the data set by using the pandas library. So instead of typing the full name pandas, I'm going to use that aliased name pd dot read underscore csv, right? And now since I'm using this notebook on the same directory where I have my data set, so I can directly give the name of the data set. A name of the data set is HR hyphen employee hyphen attrition. So I can give this HR hyphen employee hyphen attrition dot csv. So let's run that. So now we have imported that data set into the variable df. Now df is a data frame variable. Now we can see what is the shape of this. So if you use this command, shape command, let's see what is returns. So it returns two values. One is 1470 and another one is 35. This 104,070 is number of rows in that data frame and 35 are number of columns in the data frame. So this rows always represents the number of entries or number of observations. So in our data set, it's a employee details data set. There are 1470 employee details are available with this. And this 35, the columns usually are the attributes or the predictors, right? So here the df is a data frame variable which presents as a number of rows and number of columns. Number of rows are number of employee details and number of columns is the number of variables or number of features. So now if I want to see a part of data set, then I can use head command. So you can see here that this shape is a tuple variable. So I did not use parenthesis here. Whereas head is a method. Method is nothing but it's like a function. So whenever we are using a function, we should provide with parenthesis. this shape is nothing but a tuple variable. So we shouldn't give the parenthesis here. If you are giving parenthesis, let's see what happened now. So here, so it shows the error, right? Because the shape is a tuple. Tuple is nothing but it's like a data type, like a list or integer. It's like a data type. So for this, I'm going to give without parenthesis. And head method is a function, so I need to give the parenthesis. So if I'm giving like this, then what happened now? You can see the head default values for the head function is the first 5 rows will be listed, right? We can list the first 15 rows or 20 rows, whatever rows you want to list, you can give that as a attribute here. So you can see it lists the first 15 rows in our data set, from our data set. So now what happens if we are not giving this parenthesis? Let's see what happened now. So you can see here it shows the summary of this, right? So we need to provide the parenthesis, right? So if I want to list the first 10 rows, then I can give the head function, right? Similarly, this head will list the first 10 rows or whatever rows you are giving. If you want to see the last part of data set, then we need to give the tail command. So it lists the last 5 rows. You can give the 10 rows also. You can list the last 10 rows. So this gives you what is this data set is talking about, right? And here there are a lot of columns are there. The column names also given. You can see what are all columns are present in our data set. Right? So there are totally how many columns are there in our data set? There are 35 columns are there and the names of those columns are given here like age, attrition, business travel, daily rate, department, everything, right? So you can remember what is our business problem. We need to reduce the attrition rate. So how we can reduce the attrition rate? We have to develop a predictive model. That model will predict whether the employee is going to stay with us or he or she is going to leave us, right? So here we need to develop a predictive model. And here the attrition, you can notice here there is a column with attrition. That means they have given the data which employees are left already and which employees are continuously working with us, right? So we can use this information to train our model, right? We have already have some data with the attrition details. So now we can make this attrition as a target values. So from this data set, we can use the supervised algorithms to predict whether that employee is going to stay with us or not. The the unknown employee who is not present with this 1469 rows. If a new employee comes and we can predict whether he or she is going to stay with us or not, right? So here the target variable is available. So we can develop a predictive model with supervised algorithm. Right? So what is supervised algorithm? Here what is our aim? what is our data science problem? Here we need to develop a predictive model. What is going to do that predictive model? It is going to predict whether that particular employee is going to stay with us or not. So there are only, we expect only two answers, either yes or no, right? Whether he or she is going to continue with us or not. So we can say it is a two class classification problem. We are going to give some employee details, and our model will tell us whether he or she is going to continue with us or not. So the answer, the final answer of the model is like yes or no answers. So we can say this is a classification problem and this is a binary classification problem. So we can use the supervised classification algorithm for developing a ML model so that we can solve our problem. Before building the complex machine learning models, first we need to explore our data and to understand the data, right? So here the exploratory data analysis have two processes. One is numeric summarization, another one is visualization. For numerical summarization, we need some statistics measures. This is a quantitative analysis. Quantitative analysis in the sense we are having certain measures. From analyzing those measures, we can understand our data easily. So what are the descriptive statistics? That comes under four important categories. One is measure of location. It is also known as measure of tendency. And the measures are mean, median, and mode. Mean is nothing but arithmetic average, and median is the center value of that data. And mode is a number of occurrences, number of frequencies of a particular value. And a measure of spread as range, quartiles, interquartile range, STD, and variance. These measures are very much important to understand the data. And next one is the shape of the data. That means its skewness, whether it is right skewed data or left skewed data. Another one is outliers. Outliers are nothing but some values may fall out of the ranges. If you are going to take from 0 to 100, and 150 is the outlier for that particular data, right? So the if your outliers present in your data set, then it is going to affect the performance of the model. So we need to identify whether our data contains more outliers or not, and it is measured by the statistics kurtosis. So now let's see about these statistics in our data set. Now let's measure the descriptive statistics for our HR data. For that, command is df.describe. So this describe command will return certain values. So like count. Count is nothing but what are the number of entries on each columns. We can see there are 1470 rows, and it is given in all the columns. And mean is nothing but average value, right? Average of that particular columns. So we can see the average age of employees is 36.92. So for each and every column, the average values is retained. And STD is nothing but standard deviation. The standard deviation is statistics which are used to measure the spread from the average value. So standard deviation is nothing but the square root of the variance, and variance tells us a particular observation, how it is vary from the mean value, how it is spreads from the mean value, right? That is a standard deviation. And a minimum value, what is the minimum of that value, and maximum, what is the maximum age is given here. And here this 25 percentile, 50 percentile, and 75 percentiles are the important values. So the median is nothing but the 50 percentile. And quartiles are nothing but the special percentiles or the quartiles. This 25 percentile, we can say it is a first quartile, and 50 percentage is the second quartile, and 75 percentile is the third quartile, right? So Q1, Q1 first quartile is nothing but 25 percentile, and Q2 is 50 percentile. 50 percentile, the second quartile, this is nothing but our median value, the center value. And Q3, the third quartile, is 75 percentile. So this measures says how our data spreads. So what does this what does this percentile mean? If you are if let's take an example, if you are giving your class performance in a percentile, then if you are having if your mark is in third quartile, Q3 percentile, Q3 quarter, then we can say 75 percentage students who scored less than your marks, who scored like equal to or less than your marks. So by this value, we can say how our data has been spreaded, right? And this is a very important measure, and it is used to, there is another statistic measure which is known as IQR. IQR is nothing but another statistical measure is equal to the difference of first quartile and third quartile. So IQR is nothing but the difference of first quartile minus third quartile. So by this values, we can easily understood our data. So the median age is 36, right? And the median of education is third, and third is here 1, 2, 3 values are given, and each value under graduation, graduation, post graduation, like that, right? So we can understand our data by using those measures. The maximum age of the employee is 60 and minimum age of the employee is 18. So it gives some insights into the data, right? The describe function lists the basic statistics like average, mean, standard deviation, and the quartile, first quartile, second quartile, and third quartile values, mean and maximum values. The other statistics measures like mode and kurtosis skewness can be calculated like by using the comments. So first we'll calculate what is the mode. Mode is nothing but it's a measure how many times a particular value occurs. So let's calculate the mode of each column. So the command is df.mode. Let's run that. And this mode function calculates on each rows. And for each rows, the first, the 0th row returns all the um, most occurred values, and rest of the rows since it returns the most occurred values on the 0th row, all other rows returns NaN. NaN is nothing but not available. So you can see the most occurred age group is 35 and attrition is no. So most of the employees are continue with us, and business travel is most of the employees are not traveled. and daily rate is 691.0, and the most of the employees are working in the department research and development department. Like, so we have some insight from this mode function, right? So now we can calculate what is skewness. So skew is nothing but it is again a statistical third order statistics. It is used to describe the distribution of the data points. In normal computations, if our data is normally distributed, then we can easily compute the performance. So if it is skewed means most of the values, data points will be present either at the right side or the left side. Then we can say the data set is skewed data. If the positive value tells us it's a right skewed data, that means all data points will be present to the right of the median, and left negative value indicates is a negative skewed or left skewed. That means most of the values, data values, will be present to the left of the median. So by this skew value, we can understand the distribution of your data. And zero value, nearer to zero, indicates it's a asymmetric data. That means it's all data points are equally spread between two halves of the median. Right? So basically, the skew is used to understand the distribution of our data points. Next measure is kurtosis. So let's see that DF or kurtosis. So the kurtosis again it is the fourth order statistics. It tells us the outliers. If the kurtosis value is higher, then we can conclude our data set have more outliers. If the kurtosis is lower, then it has less outliers. So you can see here the positive values indicates the kurtosis values, and negative values indicates it is lesser than value of 3. Then we can say it has less outliers. What are all columns consist of negative kurtosis, then we can say it contains less outliers, and positive kurtosis means it contains more outliers. So we can see here such a company more than 3 kurtosis values, then it contains more number of outliers. So now we have seen mode, skew, and kurtosis, and there is interquartile IQR. It's again as a measure for outlier detection. We'll talk that in detail for in data cleaning session. So now let's code how to find out what is IQR for this data set. So in order to calculate Q1, the first quartile of entire data df dot and we know the first 25 percentile is the Q1 quartile. So I am going to first calculate Q1 and then next calculate Q2, Q3. Q3 is nothing but third quartile, that is 75 percentile. Now IQR is nothing but the difference between Q1 and Q3. So by analyzing these values, we can find out whether it's outlier present or not. We'll talk this in detail in data cleaning video. So we have calculated all the statistics related to our data set, and we understand we understand our data set by using these measures. We can do the quick recap of the commands used in the demo. So to import libraries, we are using import, and as is for analyzing. To read the dataset, if it is in CSV format, you have to use read underscore CSV. If it is in Excel format, then we have to use read underscore Excel. And to find the number of rows and columns, we have to use a df.shape. To list the starting of our dataset, then we have to use a df.head command. Ending rows, we need to use df.tail command. And to list the names of the columns, then we can use df.columns. And to find the basic statistics, descriptive statistics, we can use describe, mode, skew, and kurtosis commands. So in this video, we seen the numeric summarization of data, exploratory data analysis. And next video, we can plot this so we can easily visualize the data. Instead of seeing the numerical values, we couldn't understand much from the values. But if you are plotting that, by seeing the image, we can interpret more things. So in next second part of exploratory data analysis, we are going to do the data visualization by using plots. So we'll see in next video, EDA second part. If you are find this as useful, then please subscribe my channel Esoteric Data, and share it and comment it. Thank you.